Hey everybody, Spencer Jones here with Jones and 4, bringing you our live cooking show. And today we have a special recipe. It is something different, a protein, I should say, that I have never made on the show before. And I am so excited to share it with you. We're so lucky to have this around. And I'll tell you ways of, if you don't have that protein around, what you can do to make it happen. Curious what it is? Well, you'll just have to wait and find out. Or you read about it already and you know. So that's exciting too. But thank you so much for watching, everybody. I truly appreciate all of you watching. Just a couple quick things before we get going and to the recipes and all that good stuff. Just make sure you are eating healthy, right? You're doing your workouts. You're doing everything you can to make sure you are going after your goals, whatever it is. For me personally, it is making sure that you are chasing your passions to the max, right? You are going after your goals as much as you can. So to do that for me is eating healthy. That's one of the biggest things that has helped me chase my goals and chase my passions, right? And chase them to the max. All right, enough of that. Let's go and let's look at what you need for today's live cooking show so you can make it at home. Oh yeah. That's right, we're making, a buffalo steak on wild rice and vegetable pilaf. It's gonna be amazing! Oh, it's gonna be so good. Your family's gonna love it, you're gonna love it. And let's just get you on over here, folks. Come on, follow me. Come on. Over here in our kitchen. The weekly flight into the kitchen. We're gonna need some spices here. We got some black pepper, we have some sea salt, got a little oil there. What else we got? We have rosemary. See? Dried rosemary. We got some some walnut halves and pieces. Beef stock, unsalted beef stock right there. Try to get the unsalted kind a little better. We got a wild rice blend. We need 1 cup of that. I'll tell you amounts in a little bit. About a 1/3 cup of those walnuts. We got craisins. Cool craisins, about 1/3 of a cup. That's 1 chopped onion. Got some lemon juice. If you have lemon, that works as well. We got 1 garlic clove, all minced up. An apple, broccoli, and the buffalo steak. What? Crazy. Yum, yum, yum. All right, so we're going to make this thing gorgeous, and it's going to be amazing, and you're going to be like, oh, Spencer, thank you for sharing it with me. It was so good. Or something like that. You don't have to do it quite like that, but if you do, I wouldn't mind. All right, first things first, let me get you over so you can kind of see everything happening here. We have just a small little pot here for the rice. So what we're going to do is turn it on. That's back one, Spencer. Have it on high. We are going to put 1 cup of beef stock in it. Let me open that up. Unsalted beef stock. So 1 cup in there, if I can get it on. Come on. Now, usually, if you watched the show before, you know I don't measure things. When it comes to rice, quinoa, stuff like that, pasta, I generally will measure just to be on the safe side. So it's 1 cup. Now I'm going to add 3/4 cup water. I just didn't prep that before the show. But that's all right. Quick like that. Boom. So 1 cup beef stock, 3/4 cup of water. And then we're just going to add in our 1 cup of our wild rice. Now this is a wild rice blend. Nothing fancy about it. It's a mix of brown rice, white rice, wild rice, red rice, all the different kinds, all mixed up there. You can use any type of rice you like, but I find wild rice, heck, we're using buffalo, folks. It makes sense, right? Wild rice, buffalo, they kind of go hand in hand. So what you can use, if you don't have buffalo with you, right, or anything like that, you can use venison, right? I know a lot of our viewers, a lot of people who like the Jones and 4 page are hunters. Feel free to use venison. If you don't have venison or you don't like it, you can use beef, right? You could even use chicken for this recipe. It's very, very versatile. So we have the rice on high. The goal is to make it into cooked rice. That's all you're doing. So you let it get up to there to a boil, and then keep the cover on. You do want to cover because that's how you make the rice. Shocker. And so then you're just going to let that reduce it down until all the liquid inside is sucked up into the rice. Lack of better words. All right, for our meat, what we're going to use, I have a cast iron pan. It's a smaller cast iron pan. You can use any pan you like. but we're going to stick with our cast iron one here. We got it on about a medium-high heat. We're going to throw a little bit of oil in it. Just a little bit of oil. Alrighty. Now, the cast iron should already have oil in it. If you're using another pan, use some oil as well to make sure we're set. So, as I'm preparing this recipe, getting it all set here for the meat, you should have the meat out already and have it at room temperature. I know it's kind of hard to see with the lights. We're going to season a little bit just with a little pepper. Just a little pepper on both sides, nothing much, just little shakes of crushed black pepper, ground black pepper. There we go. That's it. You're not going to do anything too fancy with it. Nothing yet, right? It'll get lots of flavor here. Rinse off my hands. So as I'm preparing for the show, I'm thinking of all these fun things we could do with buffalo. It got me thinking here about the next book I'm writing. So you know, I already came out, if you've been watching or following along, you already know I came out with a book just recently about fishing beyond the breakers. And, oh, not quite hot enough, man. It's supposed to sizzle. It didn't sizzle like it usually does. Oh well, doesn't always happen. Slacking. We're going to let that cook up a little bit. I turned it on a little higher here. But if you've been following along, I wrote a book called Jones and For Beyond the Breakers. It's about fishing offshore. And basically, the goal of the book is to help people to reduce the learning curve about fishing from a kayak offshore. There's a learning curve with everything we do, no matter what it is. There's always a learning curve. And we always, I know for me, I try finding the fastest way around, right? So you spend the least amount of time in that learning curve, and you can get there to having fun, enjoying it right away. And that's what this book does. So, any case, all this thinking about bison and all that stuff got me thinking about my next one, and about camping and kayaking, kayak fishing and camping. And so I put a poll out earlier on the Jones and 4 page. So it'll be available for the next couple days if you're watching this. So it should be available to the end of February 2018. About what do you want to see this book to be about? Do you want it to be a float trip? So like when you pack up the kayak and you go float and camp all out of your kayak, or where you drive someplace and you're camping and you're kayaking, whether it's on a lake or on a river or something like that, but you always have your base camp and then you travel around. Let me know, answer the poll below, or if the poll's not available and you still like to answer or other things you'd like to see in this book, put it in the comments below. I'd love to see whether you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube later on our Jones and 4 page. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your feedback. Alright, it's starting to sizzle now. Our onions are cooking up. I chopped them up pretty well. We're going to add in the garlic now that it's sizzling. I would have added the garlic earlier, but it wasn't sizzling. I didn't get enough time. I forget, cast iron takes a little bit longer to heat up. It's going to stay hotter longer as well. Something to think about. And the goal is you just want these to become translucent for now. Just translucent. You don't want to do anything too crazy. So, got it on again, about a high-ish heat now since I turned it up, and letting it cook. So, what you're going to need, as this is cooking down, I'm going to walk you through it. It's starting to boil, which is perfect. Now, what you're going to need are these other ingredients. This is going to make that the pilaf just, I don't know, flavor explode even more for you. Explode in your mouth, I should say. Not like physically, because that'd be wrong. It'd be like, well, now I'm going to sue Spencer Jones and Jones apart. No, don't sue me. No, it's okay. It's going to make the flavor explode in your mouth. It's going to be glorious. So, when you make a pilaf, right, you could just do a plain old pilaf, which is fine. But let's add it. Let's get it a little more gourmet. Let's make it a little bit more. Let's Jones. And I can see if you're jonesing for something a little tastier, up the next level. And so you're going to add a couple things. First thing you want to add is something with a crunch to it. That's why we're adding in the crushed walnuts to it, right? So we have the halves pieces. I crush them up by hand and put them about a third of a cup worth. So that adds our crunch. You could use pecans, you could use hazelnuts, anything like that, some kind of crunch factor, right? That's going to Jones it up. If you're jonesing to raise it up, that's going to help you out. So that's one. The second thing is you want a little bit of tartness to this. And so you could use cranberries. I didn't have any cranberries readily available, so I used craisins. A little on the sweet side, a little on the tart side. It works. But you can use something tart to help spice up. So you have something crunchy and a little tart. And last but not least, something sweet is always nice. So you could use raisins, something like that. What we have is actually an apple. I think I forgot to mention that earlier. Just one apple we're going to use to sweeten it up. And that's going to be all in our pilaf, as long as I can't talk, as well as the onions and the garlic. All right, we're starting to cook pretty well here. Going to leave it on there for another minute or so. It takes a little bit of time for this aspect, but then we're going to start flying. Our rice here is boiling pretty good. Stir it up a little bit. All right, it's boiling. We're going to turn it down so it's more of a simmer than a full-on boil, like a strong simmer. Simmers when the bubbles are coming up, if you didn't know, as it's cooking. So you want a good simmer, like a light boil. There's that medium zone. All right. So I just turned that down to about a medium-high heat right now. Kind of hard to stir with my left hand. I'm not left-handed, folks. Takes talent. It's so rough. Well, I am so excited for all the things happening here in the Jones and 4 world. We have almost 750 likes on our Facebook page, so thank you to everybody who has liked the page. If you are watching this and are not a friend of ours on Facebook, please head on over to the page. Just go to Jones and 4 on Facebook and give us a like, right? Follow us, and we see a lot of great things. So many amazing things coming up. Things like the poll about the next book. I want to include your thoughts in what's happening in the next book. But also, there might be some apparel coming your way. I don't know. You just have to wait and see. Other big things, trips that we're taking, videos, kayak fishing videos, and all that other good stuff happening. So please like the page. Let your friends know about it. Let's see. I'm thinking it'd be kind of fun if we do a giveaway when we get to 1,000 likes. I mean, that'd be huge. That's a milestone. If we reach 1,000 likes on the page, let's do it. Let's do a giveaway. When we have 1,000 likes, we'll do a giveaway. I'm not sure what yet. I'll figure it out. But we'll do a giveaway for 1,000 likes. So let's see how quickly we can get here. Make me worry. Make me fret about what we're going to give away at this giveaway. Because it's going to come up so fast. So let's see if we can break 1,000 likes. We have 250 to go. Let's give away. I'll think of something. If you have ideas, maybe a signed copy of my book, Jones and 4 Beyond the Breakers. Maybe some apparel if we get it. I don't know. It might be coming. We'll see. I don't know. All right. Let me show you this onions here. Now, cast iron, you're going to want like a oven mitt or something to hold on to because it gets hot. We'll get it on camera, Spencer. So you can see it's browning up a little bit. It's a little hard to see on camera, but there's some browning happening there. It's becoming translucent. All I'm doing here, gets on camera, is I am putting it onto a pan. So I'm going to put probably 95% of this into a pan and just keep a little bit here in the pan, or on a plate, I'm sorry. You can put it in a bowl, a plate, something like that. That's all good. So that's probably about 95%, roughly. All right, we're going to put this back on the burner. We're going to add a couple splashes of our beef stock. It's probably going to equal about 1/4 of a cup. We're going to let that simmer just a little bit. It's going to help get any onions that are stuck on there, help get the flavor out, and the onions and garlic will help bring out the flavor of that beef stock as well. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to let that cook. We still keep it on the high heat, nothing crazy there. Hey, Robert, buffalo steak, that's what we're having. Good job, man. It's going to be amazing. So, again, this is what our buffalo steak looks like. I'm so excited for this. It's going to be delicious. Yummy. So, if you haven't ever had buffalo, hey, you should try it. When you get wild game like this, right, any venison, right, whether it's deer, buffalo, elk, things like that, it's going to be leaner and a healthier meat option compared to beef, right? Beef is a very fatty meat. When you get more wild game, like deer, buffalo, elk, it's going to be leaner, it's going to be healthier for you because it has less fat in the meat itself. So, just something to think about. Again, if you don't have buffalo, try it with venison, like deer, right? Or elk. Or if you can try beef, right? It's all going to work just as well, this whole recipe. And even this will work really well with chicken. Just make it chicken stock instead, right? So I would do that. But everything else should be the same. All right, we're going to add our buffalo into the pan here. and the spoon fell on the floor. Don't you hate when this happens? Hold on, folks. That's what you get with a live cooking show. That's how you know. If this was edited, this would all be edited out. See the water running? It's okay, I'm washing it. It's washed. Oh, it happens. So we have this on a high heat. Now we're going to add a touch of rosemary to the buffalo as it's cooking. You could add a little bit of butter if you want, like a tablespoon. Don't go crazy with it. Butter gets a bad rap. It's use it in large quantities, it's not great for you. Use it as a little bit, it's all right. Right? So don't go crazy with it. But we're just going to use oil and the beef stock instead to make it even healthier yet. So that's as much rosemary as I have. Nothing crazy. So ham, where did I find the buffalo? Well, you don't see them roaming around the backyards anymore, sadly. So I found this buffalo. I got the buffalo from Niemuth Southside Market here in Appleton off of Oneida Street. Shout out to Niemuth. So if you're in the Appleton area, check that store out. They have elk, they have lamb, they have a bunch of seafood like swordfish and shark and everything else. I mean, under the sun there. So awesome market. But find where you have a place near you, because right, you're watching us all across the world, hopefully. I believe we have a person watching in Turkey. That's pretty cool. So whoever's watching there, thank you so much. You're awesome, as well as all of you are awesome. So check it out and find a place where you can get that wild meat. So we put a little rosemary in there. That's going to really help bring out that flavor. We're going to add a hair more later. Just going to sprinkle a little bit more black pepper. Nothing too much. And the salt we're going to add at the very, very last minute. We don't want to go crazy with that. I'm checking on the rice. Always check on it to make sure it's not getting overdone. Right now we still got some liquid in there, but it's reducing down. Those rice is soaking in the beef stock and water quite well. Where's my... All right, so we see what we're doing here. We're working this back and forth here. Need another plate. We'll work this out. So it happens. We're going to check it now. Depending on how thick your steak is. Now, you saw the steaks I had are pretty thin. If you have a thicker steak, then you're going to need to obviously cook it more time. You could braise the sides of it, right? Maybe you have like a tenderloin steak, right? It's going to be thicker as opposed to these thinner sliced ones. So that's cool. Brown the outside, keep churning it, and in the mixture you have there, keep churning it, and so that you're cooking all around it as much as you can. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to lift up the steak and just move around and I'll flip it over, actually. Don't want to flip it too many times, but just moving the onions and all that stuff so they're not sticking, but I'll get the flavor all around. There we go. So determine how well done you want it, right? If you want it medium, medium rare, well done, whatever you like. Try to keep an eye on the meat. I suggest not cutting it. You could check out by pushing it down and then feeling it on your thumb on how well it's done it is. That's something I personally struggle with. I'm not that great with knowing exactly the temperature of the meat to know how well done it is or not. So do whatever strategy works for you. Honestly, I'm one of the lame people. I'll still cut it and look into it. I just need to work better at my temperatures and know exactly how well done it is. Because for me, I like mine about medium well-ish, and which I know is overdone for many people, but that's how I like it. And Katie likes it on the medium well side for sure. So everybody likes it a little differently, and that's okay. So we're just waiting for this to cook. As soon as that cooks, we just flipped it over once. We're going to let it sit there. We're going to take it off, and then we're going to start combining the rest of our ingredients. Now, as we're waiting for that to finish, and you just get to hear me blab, what we're going to do is we're going to cut up our apple. So I'm just cutting this into quarters all right around the core. Nothing fancy about it. Try not to cut a finger off. That would be sad. And if anybody else has any questions or anything about the show, books, or anything like that, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. I am cutting this apple up into smaller chunks, kind of like the size of the onion. I don't want it to be too big of chunks, but I want them a little bit, a little decent size. It's bigger than a raisin, but probably around the size of the onion that we chopped up. Excellent. And so we're waiting a little more. You can just, oh, let's see how the apple tastes. Delicious. I'm using Gala apples, my favorite type of apple. You can use any type you like. I just have a big preference for Gala. Let's see what we're looking like here. Looking pretty brown on that side, looking good. Not quite as much brown on the first side. So I know, I just told you, only turn over once, and what I did, I turned over twice. Yeah. I know it. Our rice is, almost there. Smells amazing. Almost done. Let that all soak in. Alright, so our buffalo's done now. So what we're going to do is we're going to let it rest. And what I mean by rest is exactly that. You're just going to let it sit on a plate and chill for a little bit. What that does, especially if you have, sorry, I forgot a plate. Especially if you have a thicker steak, the blood in it goes towards the outer edges of it, right? So you want it to rest, right? That's why you rest the meat afterwards, so that the blood can get back all into it and be juicy all over the steak, right? So it's not, you don't get any dry areas. So we took it off. We're just gonna set here. See, this is what it looks like. Buffalo. Oh yeah. You know you want some. All right, we're gonna set that over here, and it's just gonna chill. With our pan over here, we're gonna put our onions back in. Our onions and what else was it? Garlic. Back in the pan. Should probably just use my fingers. There we go. They're clean. All right, back in the pan with a splash of beef stock, just to kind of revitalize everything. A couple splashes of it, I guess. There we go. That's about maybe an eighth of a cup. All right, got our spatula. Too hot. All right, our rice is done. We're going to shut it off. Just look at it. Oh yeah, it's all soaking in beautifully. Let that sit there for just a little bit. All right, now we're going to stir in the rest of our ingredients. So we have the onions, the garlic in there. We're going to add in our broccoli. This is one head of broccoli chopped up relatively fine. You'll see some bigger chunks. Let me show you here. You'll see some, there we go. You'll see some bigger chunks like this. Okay, I know it's not focusing well. And you see some smaller ones like that. So real finely chopped up, I was saying chopped up broccoli that you can have in it. You can have it thicker if you like, personal preference, whatever will see you know, makes you all happy and makes it all fancy. We're going to add our craisins, about 1/3 of a cup of craisins. You can use regular cranberries as well. About 1/3 of a cup of our crushed walnuts. Mix it all in. Just heating it up nice and fine. There we go. Beautiful. What's my missing? Apple. So we're just combining the rest of our ingredients all in the same pan here that we cooked the buffalo in. Careful with the cast iron, that handle can get hot. Alright. Now we're just going to add a splash of lemon juice. Just a quick splash if you're using real lemon. I would suggest 1/4 to 1/2 lemon you can squeeze over it. Just another splash of the beef stock so it doesn't dry out. Again, you can probably add that in early and that'd be fine. Let me show you what this looks like over here before we add in our rice. Taking you over to the oven, to the stove top. Oh yeah. Check out that gloriousness. Yummy! So it's cooking, it's heating up real fine, it's going to be beautiful. And now, put that over here, we're going to add in our rice. So just putting it in the pan. This is going to make our delicious, wonderful pilaf. It's going to be so good. Turn that down to a low heat now. It's all cooked up. Mix it in. You gotta be careful because I could have picked a bigger pan to make, but Oh well. Alright, it should all be mixed up. By now we're going to add a couple cranks of sea salt in here. That'll help make the flavors pop even more. Mix that in. There we go. And boom. That is it, folks. Your buffalo steak and rice and veggie pilaf in 26 minutes. How do you like that? So, pretty impressive. I like it. Let's see what it looks like here. Let me grab a serving spoon. I keep forgetting these utensil things today. It's alright. So we have our plate. So here's how you serve it up. And you want to be all fancy like. If I can get the spoons right here. Probably about 2 spoonfuls on a plate. At least for me. Okay, I lied. 2.5. Alright, and then we will take our steak that's resting. You can add a little more rosemary to it, or in the pilaf if you like. But there you have it, folks. There is your buffalo steak and rice and veggie pilaf. Boom. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I appreciate you taking the time and watching the show. Please share this with your friends and family on your wall. If you're watching this on YouTube, throw us a like on here, and share this out. Thank you so much for watching. Any of the fat you see there, you see a little bit of fat edge there? That's okay. Trim it off, right? Don't add those calories to your diet, but it helps add to the flavor. So trim that off and enjoy this delicious meal. Randy, you said rare, please. Well, you can make this any way you like, bud. So thank you, folks, for watching. Have a great night. Stay healthy, stay fit, go after your goals. Be sure you can chase your passions to the max. We will catch you next week for another live cooking show with Jones and Four. Have a great week, and we'll catch you all later.